Hi, everyone, and welcome to Digital Champions. I'm your host, Charlene Shirk, where we speak to some of the most innovative thinkers in the digital space. And joining us today is Nathan Hawks with Arcane Marketing. Nathan, thank you so much for joining us today on Digital Champions.
Hey, I appreciate you inviting me.
Oh, it's our pleasure, especially when I was reading through some of the information on you. You are claiming you are better than anybody at 5 things anywhere in North America. So the floor is yours. Do tell.
Oh, well, I have a lot of experience in the digital marketing world. I have been doing it for almost 15 years now, and I've worked with lots of different agencies. And I know that there's kind of a general mentality for most of these digital marketing agencies where they kind of just do it all, right? They're sort of a jack of all trades when it comes to anything digital marketing. And my experience is that working at previous agencies is that we have been really good at just a handful of things. And so what I decided to do when I started Arcane Marketing was just make sure that we become really good at just a handful of things. And sometimes we have clients that will ask us to do things outside of our scope, and we'll let them know, hey, look, that's not one of our specialties. We can certainly try if you want, or we can help you find somebody that's better. But we have a particular skill set, right, in 5 areas, and that's it. And every single time we've ever come across anybody or worked with anybody in those areas, or taken over for another company or gone head to head against another company, we've almost always come out ahead. So I guess experience kind of tells me that we're pretty good.
Well, and you've been recognized as a top SEO 12 months in a row by topseo.com. So it's not just you saying it. Other folks are saying it about you. So talk to us a little bit about what is the pain point that you're solving for the clients who come to you?
I think it probably varies just a little bit. There are most of the time people come to us and we're pretty well known for our SEO services and the results that we get from that. And so that's one area that brings them in. But a lot of times it's just them asking, like, how can we take our business or how can we take our website and have it be our very best salesperson? Or how can we take our business online and make sure that more people are seeing it? Or how do we become a more recognized brand? And so those are the kinds of tasks that we typically tackle for most of our clients.
And what changes on the horizon in the digital space do you see that folks need to be paying the most attention to? Because there's always changes, right? There's always evolution in this. But what are the things that you're focused on making sure that you are on top of so that you can make sure you're implementing for your clients?
Here's what's funny is that everyone's so focused on what's the latest and greatest. What are all those things that they need to be aware of? I don't even know that there is trends or pieces that you really have to pay attention to too much. But what I have found that there are some core pieces that have always mattered. And every single time some change or some new thing comes out, it almost always kind of goes back to what happens in those core pieces. And honestly, a lot of people may argue with this, and I'm sure there's exceptions, but almost always where you have control of a message, where home base typically is your website. That doesn't mean you can't do forums or communities on social network, and it doesn't mean that you can't have various places where you can be present, but you can control 100% of everything that you want on your website. And so there are technical pieces that are always looked at. There's some of the nuances and maybe a disruptive and artsy pieces, but what it really comes down to for almost anything you want to do in marketing, whether it's in social media or paid search or SEO or branding or something like that, is what experience are you giving people on your website? What kind of quality are you presenting to them? And where I think most people need help with, or what I identify frequently, is that they usually do just enough to get by, but they don't usually do it to the degree that it should be done, or that some people are. There are some companies that do a fantastic job, and they go, to the nines to try and get these, to their message and the experience that people have on their websites, to do well. And most people are just trying to see what's the least amount that I can do to sort of make things happen. And I think that's kind of the wrong kind of mentality to have. So, for all intents and purposes, I think you have to ask yourself, for any changes or any things that are coming up, what is it that you want your customers or clients to experience. How can you tell that better, and how can you differentiate yourself from any of your competitors, even if it's super similar to the things that they do? How do you make yourself stand out? And one of those ways is with the quality of the way that you tell the story, the content that you have. And the other thing is, just an old piece, and probably the last thing I'll say on this is, it still blows my mind, but video is like cheating. Everyone should be doing video all the time, everywhere, for everything. And people want to watch a video. Maybe it's a 30-second video rather than read 500 words. And so it's not a new trend, but it should be something everyone should focus on a little bit. Is what are you doing in video, and how are you making that apply to all the areas of your digital marketing? Because I think you can.
Well, and Nathan, it was funny because when you said, well, I think that's cheating, I'm like, but everybody's supposed to do video. And then you were like, because everybody should be doing video. I'm like, oh, okay, I see where he was going with that one.
Yeah.
Nathan, we usually ask people to wrap up with their best tip, but I feel like you've already, is there anything else, any kind of $1 million moment that you want to share with us as we wrap? Because I feel like everything you've just said was just these golden nuggets, one right after another.
Yeah. You know what? Here's what I would tell people. I get phone calls every day of people saying, "Hey, so and so has told me about this new thing," and they're all focused about these little details of things. And honestly, those little details of things are kind of like an icing on the cake, but it's not the cake. Just what I was mentioning a moment ago about making sure you're producing quality content and quality information is far more valuable to anybody than any of the little nuances and little pieces that they feel like that they want to keep trying to do. So just ask yourself, what's the real goal, and then make sure that you're answering what that is. And a really good rule of thumb is most products or most services are solving a problem. So how do you explain or express in a better way you're going to help solve that problem, whatever it might be?
Yep, because you make it about the client, not necessarily about you. Well, Nathan, thanks so much for joining us today on Digital Champions. Really good stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, it was our pleasure. And if you'd like to learn more about what Nathan is doing over there at Arcane Marketing, you can check him out at dailyadbrief.com. And that's going to do it for us on Digital Champions. I'm your host, Charlene Shirk, and we look forward to learning something new with you next time.